Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the um, Mid South Wrestling Review for September. Yes, we're already in September, the 1st, 1984. Hopeful to have, I don't know if it'll go the way I want it to, but hopeful to have the majority of 1984 up and running for you by at least the end of the weekend, if not the end of the day. JYD and Hacksaw Duggan in a kind of clunky promo visiting Jeff McKay. I don't know anything about this segment. Basically, he some sort of celebrity. Duggan and JYD try to talk to him. He stares at the TV, says he's watching Mid South Wrestling, and basically ignores them. Don't quite understand the whole concept of things. Also, pretty sure this is a booking change. Change in bookers as new talent abounds here. Big Bob Owens versus Johnny Mantell. Mantell, if you haven't already, go check out our world class series. But world class standout Mantell is here, and he's holding on to Owens' arm, kind of hooking him up pretty intently for the next little while. Mantell with the jumping knee shots, and eventually gets a victory relatively quickly with a lariat style leaping clothesline. McCord and Cruz take on the Midnight Express next. Obviously, the Midnight Express is there. Jim Cornette has donned a mask. They don't really go into the reasons behind the mask, except he's protecting himself or something of that nature. This seems to be from the, I guess, TBS style studios. At least that's what it seems to be because of the hanging flags. Anyway, Khrushchev is kind of there, and Cornette's endorsing Khrushchev there. And again, maybe he's like an honorary member of the Midnight Express for a minute. Anyway, Cornette carrying on about the dangers of Duggan and the American way and all of this, and how Duggan's caused him problems, and ultimately Khrushchev promises to protect Cornette. And anyway, Cornette calls out his team to face McCord and Cruz, and obviously Hercules there to second him. The return of the tag team championship to the Midnight Express is there as well. Eaton squares off with Cruz for a few minutes, kind of tries to power his way through, hits a few short shots, goes and gets sent into the top turnbuckle. McCord comes in, Dennis Condrey in, and kind of goes at it with McCord for a little bit. Not a lot going on there as tag off. Cruz comes in for a moment, but Bobby Eaton goes to the second rope, hits the diving knee drop for his trouble, and tag off, and eventually we see a victory for the Midnight Express, as is to be expected with them being champions. Adrian Street makes his debut here in the area. Adrian Street faces Terry Ellis. Not a guy that I know a lot about. Adrian Street, though, kind of does the cross dressing thing with his significant other, Miss Linda. He's wearing kind of bunny ears and makes his way around. I'm not sure what his actual music is, but Adrian Street certainly doing the effeminate gimmick to a whole nother level. Known for his, I guess, British style of wrestling, I guess you would say. Miss Linda's there, and you see Street checking out his makeup in the mirror. She's removing his attire, and he's an interesting looking cat, to say the very least. Not quite sure how that would have gotten over in 1984 anywhere, but it's kind of there. Um, and he is prancing or jumping, leaping around. Not by any means a guy that you would expect to be doing these things, but he is. Meanwhile, he kind of does a leg clothesline takedown type maneuver, Russian or European uppercut and a splash on the arm of the adversary, and again with a second splash. Adrian certainly believes he's in control of the contest quite easily, and a crucifix 1, 2, 3 rolls him up, and away we go. Dr. Death talks about the toughest man award, basically says there's no one tough enough to challenge him for it, basically calls out anyone who will pay attention. Also, we kind of see Buddy Landell and Robert Christie. Christie, again, an enhancement talent. Relatively new. Looks pretty big, actually. Although doesn't look like he has the best gear. It just kind of looks like a bum who put on some leprechaun pants. But anyhow, um, shoves him off, and Landell has some challenges. Certainly, if there is the new Booker, like I believe there to be, obviously Landell going to get a renewed push here. Front face locks for Landell, and some kicks along the way. Landell gets a victory after a major forearm, and both guys go tumbling to the canvas. Landell manages to kick the man in the head pretty aggressively, and manages a running forearm, gets a victory. I almost wonder if they didn't call the match, call it audible quickly because the guy was that bad. Ernie Ladd against Brickhouse Brown. Brown is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Ernie Ladd, of course, has been around for decades. Brickhouse Brown ends up becoming a bigger star in the next little while. An alliance has continued to formulate, percolate, and benefit, I guess you'd say. Ernie Ladd and Buddy Landell. Ladd goes up as the on the result of a backdrop, and Brickhouse Brown in the corner stomping on his man. Meanwhile, Ladd trying to get some sort of weapon out of his tights. Again, the battle between Landell and Ladd is, or Landell and Brown is here. Double stomp both guys. Meanwhile, Sonny King comes out to save Brickhouse Brown. So now you've got Ladd and Landell against King and Brown. And I've got to grab my phone there. But we will be back momentarily. Stay right put.
Incoming keen chat request. Incoming keen chat request. Incoming keen chat request.
And again, I mean, it's Brown becoming more of a consistent talent, and all of that, I assume, is going to happen. Although I don't know that it happens here. The majority of his stuff ends up being Memphis primarily. We do go to, I guess you'd say, the more main event of the program. Duggan and Khrushchev in a hair versus flag match. Obviously, kind of blowing off the program that's going on for, I'd say, at least maybe a year that way. Ultimately, there. And I get another phone call here. In any event, we will be back in 2 more shakes of Lamb's Tail. And again, without a doubt, Duggan certainly is brawling his way through this match. It is a major match. Duggan does do a good bit of selling here. Obviously, you're gonna blow that off pretty aggressively, and it has gone on for several months. Arm ringers, arm bars, and the like. Clothesline by Duggan. Duggan forces his man to carry his weight. Misses a second rope. I guess leaping tackle was what he was going for. Hard to tell. But anyway, shot back off the ropes after several kicks by Khrushchev. Khrushchev manages to do everything he can. Tries to get Duggan down. Does not get rid of Jim Duggan. Again, hair versus flag, and obviously Duggan willing to do just about anything to defend the flag. Duggan manages a big clothesline, and ultimately does manage to hit a elbow to the top of the head. Flying tackle by Duggan gets the victory. 1, 2, 3, and the final segment, he burns and destroys, or disposes, I guess you'd say, of the Russian flag as we close the program in the first week of September. So, We'll be back with more right after this.